Hi, I'm Samantha and I'm going to be your coach today through Phase 1 Spine and Pelvis Stabilization exercises. Now, nobody likes to work out with strangers, so let me introduce you to your workout partners for today. We have Megan, Carol and Richie. Now, they're going to be representing 3 different levels of exercising. We have level 1, level 2 and level 3. So if you're new to exercising, I want you to keep a close eye on Megan because that's the exercises I'd like you to do. Level 2, if you've been exercising for a while and as you get the hang of your exercises, you're going to progress to level 2. And my elite athletes, and as my phase 1 and 2 get strong, this is what we're aiming for. We're aiming to work out like Richie. So with that being said, let's start with some nice deep breathing breaths. So what we're going to do is, I want you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart. And I want you to stand up nice and tall and just take in 5 deep breaths. Now, as you're breathing in and out, I want you to belly breathe. And that means it's the only time I'm ever going to ask you to stick your tummy out, but I want you to breathe the air into your stomach. So breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to do 5 nice deep breaths. It's going to help you to relax. It's going to help you to prepare for our workout. So give me 3 more deep breaths. 2 more. Our last one, and let's move on to our posture check. Now, we're going to stand in correct posture. As the day goes on, we all tend to stand slouched over, and I'm going to teach you your correct posture. So you're going to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to lift your chest high. You're going to put your shoulders down, have your hands nice by your sides. I want you to make sure that your chin's high and everything's going to be in line. My hips are in line, my knees and toes are facing forwards. And this is a great posture here. Always, your abs are always tight. We always want to work on our abs, so keep your abs nice and tight. Your hands are down by your side and your palms are facing in towards your body. So with that being said, let's move on to our first stretch, which is called the head hang. Now, it is what it says it is. It's a head hang. We're going to hang our head forward, just nice and gently. I want you to hang your head and look down at the floor, relaxing into the stretch. And then I want you to slowly go across to one arm. I want you to just tilt across to one arm, and I want you to hold this stretch, and you're really going to feel a stretch right down this side of your neck. It's going to help you relax. I want you to breathe while you're stretching. I want you to relax into the stretch. And then we're going to come back to the center. I want you to look back up, and then let's go back down and repeat this stretch on the other side. So down we go, look across, and just hold that stretch right there. Just hold. We're going to hold for a good 15 seconds on all our stretches, because that really gives your body a chance to relax into the stretch. We never want to force into our stretches, we just want to relax. Right, come back up to center, and let's move on to our next exercise, which is really going to address behind our shoulders. So it's called a cross chest because you're going to pull your arm across your chest. Nice and simple. So I want you to take one arm and cross it across your chest, being sure to hold just behind your elbow. And make sure that you keep your shoulders down. We have a tendency to come up here, but I want you to keep it nice and low, stretch across, and just hold that right there. Now, let's come back to center, and let's repeat the same stretch on the opposite side. Again, every time I do this, I really have to focus on keeping my shoulders relaxed, remembering my posture. We have to remember to breathe. Awesome. Just 4 more seconds. Really feel that stretch and relax. Now, my next exercise, it has a funny name, but don't let it put you off. It's called the penguin because we're going to make little wings. I want you to pretend to put your arms in your back pockets here and pull your elbows forward. Now, as you're doing this stretch, I want you to really be careful to keep your chin high, your chest high, and where I want you to focus is on pulling your elbows forward. I want you to really pull your elbows forward. You feeling that stretch right through your shoulders? Awesome. So just hold that stretch for 3 more seconds. Wonderful. And then we'll move on to our next stretch, which is our standing upper trap. So what I want you to do is I want you to take one arm and place it behind your back. And with your other arm, I want you to grab your arm just above your wrist. We never want to pull on our wrist. We don't want to disjoint ourselves here. We just want to get a nice stretch. So I want you to gently pull down, and then again, as we did with our head hang, I want you to just glance over at your opposite arm. That will really increase the tension of the stretch through the back of your shoulders and through your neck. So it will feel really good, get an extra stretch there, looking good. Right, now come back to neutral. Remember, always come back to neutral, shake it out a little if you need to, and then move across and stretch the other side. Grab above the wrist, really pulling your arm down, and then looking across. Just a nice look across into that opposite shoulder. Awesome. Should be really feeling good. We're starting to relax. We're focusing on breathing because our belly breaths that we do really helps increase the oxygen flow to your muscles because you're taking in extra oxygen with the deep breaths. Now bring that stretch down and we're going to move on to our next stretch, which is really going to open up your chest area. It's a standing pec stretch. So again, find your nice posture, feet are shoulder width apart, and I just want you to cross your fingers at the back of your neck here. I want you to focus, do not pull forward, don't pull your neck forward. Stand up nice and tall and pull your elbows back. This is really going to open up your chest here. It's really going to help loosen off your back also. And again, everything we do, we're standing nice and tall and relax back down. Now our next exercise that we're going to do, we're going to move on to what's called our standing upper tricep stretch. You ready for this? Okay, so I want you to take one arm up high and I want you to put it down your back through the center of your back and use your opposite arm to gently push down on your elbow so you can really feel the stretch down this back side of your arm here. You should really be feeling it through here. And I want you to be very mindful that you're not pushing your head forward. We want to make sure that your head's back and you're really just stretching out the muscle that we want you to stretch. So bring that back down to neutral and let's go up the other side, arm up high, nice deep breath, push down, hold that stretch. Every time you do these stretches, you're going to improve your flexibility. Every time you do it, you're going to be able to stretch a little bit better. You're going to be a bit more efficient at the stretches. And every time we stretch, you're going to get better at controlling your breath, making sure you're taking in lots of oxygen, you're breathing out, and relax. Awesome. Now we've finished stretching upper body, so it's time to take it down to the floor. Position your mat horizontal to your screen so you can see what we're doing. Now you'll notice that your workout partners are using the risers, and that's so that you can see at home the proper alignment for the exercises. So some of the exercises, we're going to ask you to look down at the floor. So see what we're doing first and then position yourself to look down at the floor. Now our first exercise is really going to address disc health. So what I want you to do is have your heels facing out, and that's going to relax your glutes before we start our push-up. So your hands are at your chest. Women can put their hands out a little bit wider because it makes it a little bit easier. And then I want you to go ahead and press up. Now as you feel your hips come off the mat, that's the time that you're going to go back down, remembering to breathe, coming back up and back down. Remembering to breathe the whole time through this exercise. Again, remembering to keep our glutes nice and relaxed, your feet are turned out. And again, like I said, now that you've seen the exercise, be sure that your eyes are looking straight down in front of you because that's going to protect your neck, because your neck is going to be in a perfect alignment with your back. And you're going to keep going. And give me a few more. We just have 4 more to go. You should really feel this opening up your back. You're really getting a good stretch from this exercise. We have 2 more to go. Feels good? Awesome. 1 more. And relax. Now it's time to flip over onto your back. And the first thing I'm going to have you do here is do a pelvic tilt. Now a pelvic tilt, what that does is it's going to eliminate the space between yourself and the floor. So you're basically just going to tuck your pelvis under, and again, we're going to protect your spine while you're doing this. Your feet are shoulder width apart, and our exercise here is a beginning pelvic rotation. We're really going to be loosening up the pelvis with this exercise. So I want you to engage your abdominal muscles, and then I want you to slowly and carefully lower your legs down to the floor, and then position your heel of your top leg on top of the other. And you should really feel this stretch right through here, right through your back. you really start feeling the stretch. Again, it's very, very gradual. You're going to really slowly open up, remembering to breathe. Now, as you come up, I want you to engage your abdominal muscles first, come up, reposition your feet, do your pelvic tilt again, and then slowly lower to the other side. The pelvic tilt is so important for a lot of our exercises because it really does protect your lower back, and it also makes you engage your core muscles. And our program, as Bob has taught us, is really about stabilizing your core muscles to make sure that you're strong. We're talking about pelvis stability, we're talking about hip health, and so that's why we're going to really focus on our core. Come back up to the center and relax right here. Wonderful. So like I said, we're going to really work on core. Our next exercise is called the pretzel, but don't reach for your snacks. Just reach for that leg that's closest to the screen and cross it over your other one. All we're going to do here is I want you to put one arm on top of your knee, and I want you to pull that knee up towards your opposite shoulder. Now, you can feel comfortable and keep one leg on the floor, or you get a better stretch by having both feet elevated. So I want you to hold that. You should really feel this stretch right through your glutes. You're going to feel it in the side of your glutes. And again, remembering to breathe, slowly coming back down, uncross, take a deep breath, pelvic tilt, and now switch to the other side. Pull up. Awesome. Now you'll hear me talk all the time about coming back to a neutral position. And the reason our neutral position is so important is because we never just want to switch from one side to the next. We want every motion to be very purposeful. I want you to make sure you're stretching the right muscles, and I want to make sure that you're breathing and working your core. Slowly come back down, always coming out of the stretch the same way that you went in. Now our next exercise really addresses the inner thigh. So I want you to lift one leg up at a time to a 90-degree angle, place your hands on the inside of your knees, and then slowly push out and down. Again, with this exercise for me, I always have a tendency to pull my knees. I want to pull my knees up towards my chest. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to keep this nice position, and I want you to make sure that you're pushing out and down, that you're breathing and you're relaxing into the stretch. You really relax into it, and each time you do it, you'll get further and further apart. Come back to the center, put one foot down at a time. And our next exercise, we're going to be working our quads, my runner's quads here. I want you to go into a side lying position. So as you turn over onto your side, I want you to be sure that you keep your one leg bent here. Again, we're always addressing spinal health. So I want you to keep your leg bent, and then I want you to reach down and grab your leg at your laces at your foot, and I want you to pull your foot towards your glute muscle. And you're going to feel a stretch right here through your quad. Now take a quick peek and notice that as she's lying down here, she's lying on her arm and she's in a perfectly straight line. Her hips are stacked one on top of the other. She's really relaxing into her stretch, and then she's going to slowly come out of this stretch. Great job. And then I want you to switch around to the other side so we can stretch out the other side. Again, as you lie down, remember your cues. You're going to lie down, you're going to have everything aligned, and then you're going to lift your leg up, grabbing at your laces. Great job. I want you to really pull up. And now as you're looking down, look down at your knee. And if you can see your knee, it means your hips aren't quite stacked correctly. So I want you to pull back. There you go. And you should really start slowly feeling your quad loosening off, making sure that you keep your core nice and tight. Hold that stretch for one more second. Come back down. And it's time for another fancy animal name stretch. It's called the cat back, and this requires you being on all fours. As you come up onto all fours, what I want you to do is I'm going to use Richie now to explain this exercise. But first you'll notice hips are in line with your knees, shoulders are in line with your wrists, and I want you to reach up. Notice how his back is arched high, and he's going to hold this stretch right here, and then as he comes down, he's always going to come back down into a neutral position. Let's go back up into that stretch again now that you've got the mechanics of it. While you're up, it's almost as if somebody's pulling you up. His core's really tight. I can feel his six-pack. String. So what I want you to do is I want you to come up nice and tall first, and I want you to make sure that you hinge at your hips. You hinge forward. It's often common to bend forward, but again, we want to keep a nice straight back. I want you to hinge forward, and I want you to feel this stretch right through your hamstring. Great job. One more second. And now flex your toe towards your shin. And this is going to take the focus of the stretch to your calf muscle. You're going to be stretching out your calf muscle. Remembering the same principles. Your chest is high and you're flexed at your hips. As the stretch starts to release, I want you to release, pull your toe towards your shin and then release off and switch to the other side. Great job. Let's stretch the hip flexor on the other side. Remembering your knees are always shoulder width apart here. Notice her alignment. She's feet are spread. She looks good. Stretching out her hip flexor right on this opposite side. Feeling good? Yeah, feels good? Perfect. You're feeling the stretch where you're supposed to feel it. It'll take a while. You'll just really ease into your stretch. And now this time, as you come back into your hamstring stretch, I'm going to teach you about a principle called the subsiding tension principle of stretching. And basically what that means is, as you feel a stretch here, hinge forward, good job. Now as you feel this stretch, when you get to the point that the stretch feels quite intense, you back up from the stretch. And as it relaxes, then you stretch back into the stretch. And what this does is, over time, it's really going to improve your flexibility. Your hamstrings are going to become lengthened. And it feels awesome. Feeling good? Now let's switch back into the calf stretch again, sitting back further, pulling your toe up towards your shin, sitting back. There you go. You should really now start feeling that in the back of your calves on this leg. Wonderful. Really should feel that. 2 more seconds for holding. 2, 1, and relax.